Hello all you baby bats and bad witches, or should I say motor babies and crash queens. It's Marilynmugbeat, and for this video I'm going to be doing my 3 Looks 1 palette using the Danger Days box set collection from Hipdot and My Chemical Romance, of course. This is how the whole collection comes in the box set of the little boom box, and all of the attention to details on this is just so incredible. If you didn't know, I actually got to be a part of some of the images for the campaign for this. They did kind of like a fan contest to get a first look at all of the products and get to put them on, and I snuck my way into that. I was mainly just hanging out and doing behind the scenes stuff as much as I could for you guys. So if you'd like to see all of the behind the scenes from the shoot, you can go. I have a highlight on my Instagram. And although I would say that the Danger Days era is probably the most underrated out of all of the MCR eras, I'm really excited that I got to be a part of this because this era was the time where I was an active fan. I was too little to be a part of the whole Three Cheers era, and before the band had broken up, I had gotten to see my chem on the Honda Civic tour with Blink-182. I have done a 3 Looks 1 palette using the Three Cheers palette, so if you haven't checked that out, make sure to look at that first. I'm a huge My Chemical Romance fan. They're my favorite, and I'm really thankful for all of you watching and seeking out this. I know I'm a little late, but I'm sure somebody will see this hopefully pop up when they're looking up ideas on what to wear to all of the festivals and shows that MCR will hopefully do this year. I don't know if you have heard, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna make a Danger Days TV show. It had been announced a while back, so now I really do have to think of what my Killjoy name would be. So if you have one, drop it in the comments down below. I know a lot of people are probably just getting this set as a collector's item, or even if you didn't pick it up, I'm sure you could follow along with any rainbow palettes that you already have. So I really hope that you are able to follow along and at least get some inspiration from all of these looks. Please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel here, and also check out the description box down below for all of my other links to my social media. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Marilynmugbeat. I am a California girl, so of course I adore the cover of Danger Days with the California desert, and the main spider on the palette for this album cover version reflects with a holographic shift. This eyeshadow palette is called Art is the Weapon, and I'll be using the white eye base as well as the liner to recreate the cover. The all-white branding and little face on the cap is actually representing Better Living Industries, which in the punk post-apocalyptic world of the Killjoys is the mega corporation that they're against. The first shade I'm dipping into is Mouse Cat, and I'll be using this to start mapping out my skyline. If you're new here, I don't know what I'm doing, so of course my lights are super overexposed, but I hope you can tell that I'm going in with a really light hand, even though it looks a lot lighter than it is. I'll get better someday. Next I'm going in with the yellow called Look Alive. I will go back in after this and just deepen everything up, but right now I want to create a really light and sunny background. Art is the weapon because usually when you think of sunset you would think more like orange. Blue and orange would just make this look really muddy, so I want to avoid that as much as possible. And to continue all of the theme of the bright earthiness, I'm going to go in with this green shade. It's called Destroya, and I'm going to be adding it onto the inner corner. These eyeshadows really pop on top of the white base, and I know it's a lot of color, so to ground it a little bit more, I'm going to be going in with the brown shade under my eye. It's called Keep Running, and I love that it's included in this eyeshadow palette because in the whole lore of My Chemical Romance, this has been pretty much the overall theme of the band itself. Carry on, keep running, so I love it. Now to draw on the Killjoy spider, I'm actually just going to be using the same eyeshadow base, and I'm using a little art brush to create the thin lines. I feel like this design has a lot of detail, but at the same time it's really simple, so it's not too hard to recreate. It doesn't have to be perfect. The only straight lines in this look really are in the middle of the spider where it has a lightning bolt shape. Since this eye design is going over the eyeshadow that I just meticulously went in and blended, I'm being very careful. You can see I'm creating very short and intentional strokes, but I think I was in the zone a little too much because In this clip coming up, you can totally see me realizing that I flipped the lightning bolt. So even if you mess up, it's okay. I'm just gonna do it the right way on the other eye. So I found the hardest part was just building up the little body of the spider. You just want to make sure that you are creating the design above your eyelid crease. You can see mine, it's completely wonky once I lift my eyelid, but I'll be covering that up afterwards with the shimmer eyeshadow anyway. So this look will still work on you if you have wrinkly eyes or eyelid creases. For my under eye, I'm drawing on the little spidey head, and to clean it up, it's super easy in this area. So if you mess up, you can just touch it up really easily with the brown eyeshadow. Since I made sure to draw the body of the spider above my eyelid crease, the little legs are going to go through my eyebrows and up onto my forehead. I think it looks really cool, especially once the lashes are on and everything. You'll see. The placement is the funnest part, I feel like. Whenever I see people do like makeup of album covers, it's very literal, so I hope you enjoyed this interpretation that I've done. Although I am pretty much still using the same color scheme and the design of the spider itself, I really wanted to blow it up even bigger and make it a lot more reminiscent of like all of the gothic graphic eyeliner that you see nowadays. The Killjoy spider is so iconic, and actually one time I was going down to Amoeba in Hollywood and I parked out on the street, and literally a more modern version of the kind of na-na-na video car with the Killjoy spider on the hood parked behind me. I think it was a Charger. I was getting ready to fangirl at whoever came out of this car, and they looked like little like emo TikTokers, like young kids. It was wild. I still want that car though. And as I mentioned before, I'm gonna go over my eyelid with the shimmery shade called In the Lights You Make. Since the eyeshadow base is very creamy, this is gonna help in just blending together that awkward section of my eyelid that's wrinkly and kind of messes up the design of the spider, and just make it a little more cute. And to lock it all in place, I'm going over all of my line work using a translucent setting powder. Since I am placing this over that creamy base, I'm making sure to really press it into the skin, and when I brush it away, I'm being careful not to disrupt any of the lines. To bring out a lot more of my gothic liner influence, I'm gonna do a black lip liner, and I'm just softly blending it out using a brush. It'll really make the color that I'm going in with next pop. I love yellow gothic makeup looks. I don't know what it is about it, but just the use of this color with black, it looks so cool. So I'm going to be using this lipstick from the collection in the shade Party Poison and adding it just to the center of the lips like a little ombre moment. It'll really bring out that hint of yellow in the sunny sunset eye that I created. And since the eye is really bright, I think this darker lip pairs perfectly together. Excuse me, if they do make a Danger Days show, I need to do makeup. I'm calling it now, we gotta let them know. Look no further. To blend the shade all the way to the edges, I'm just using my finger, and that's gonna be the last step. Here is the completed look. Okay, so first of all, I need to show you my nails. These are some MCR glam nails that were done by Color Cured on Instagram. If you guys want to check her out, I actually got to do an unboxing with this set for Hipdot's restock of the MCR 3 Cheers box set. There will never be a better thumbnail design than this. I am so obsessed. One of them is a little bloody rosary. I'll make sure to link her website down below as well. And this hoodie that I thrifted is so ridiculous. I am doing a quick glam for this look, so to get started, you can honestly just choose any bright, colorful rainbow shade out of this palette. On this day, I am going to the Hello Kitty Cafe, so I'm going straight into the hot pink called Show Pony. To make my blending process a little quicker, I'm first going in with the light hand and applying the color all over throughout the crease. Once I have a thin layer down, I'm gonna go in and just pack the color straight on into the outer edges. And I'm also bringing that under the eyes. To create the spotlight for my halo eye, I'm gonna go back in with the large fluffy brush and pick up some of the white base. To set the base, I'll be using the shade In the Lights You Make. I love the chunky glitter in this, so I really want to highlight that by doing a more dispersed look. And I'm in a rush, so no time for any fancy cut creases. Next, I'm going to frame the spotlight of my halo eye using the shade Keep Running. I noticed that the more you pack on this color, the deeper it gets, so don't be afraid to really get in there. I'm also adding some spiky eyelashes and a little bit of eyeliner just to hide the band. I added a more cool toned lip, so to finalize this lip and make it super bright like my halo eye, I'm going to be adding a little bit of highlight just to the center of my lips using the Fun Ghoul lipstick. And this is the completed look. Alright, so to get started with this look, I'm going to be just applying a thin layer of foundation. I want the skin to be a little bit natural, so I'm not going to be doing too much to it. The idea behind this is just to recreate a rainbow version of the stripe that Gerard Way does for the Three Cheers era, but of course instead with all of these rainbow colors. And next, with a spatula, I'm taking out a little bit of this Better Base for a Better You. I'm taking a large fluffy brush and I'm going to start to create the shape. If you do have real eyebrows, you could probably just block them out. I do have a tutorial, but if you don't want to put up with that, I would just brush a little bit of this base into them, and that way they'll be able to pick up any color that you put on top of them. That's pretty much the same technique that I would do on my bleach brows. When they were looking a little yellow, I would just put some white over them. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, you could just use the technique that Gerard does with the tape, but the design that I'm going over this with is going to be really random and splattery, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Your face is not a flat surface, so it's never just going to be perfectly straight. And to clean up the edge, I'm going to go in with a flat brush. If you're having trouble with like your foundation mixing in with the white, I would honestly just do the eyes first, especially if you're really concerned with like the symmetry of this. Another way that you can go in and clean this up is in reverse, so instead of cleaning up the white, you clean it up with your concealer. Once you get happy with your application, I'm just going to go over everything one more time to even it all out. I'm just working it into the skin. And with whatever's left over on my brush, that's what I'm going to take closest to my eye. So now for the fun part, I'm actually going to be dipping into these eyeshadows using this special effects sponge. It's pretty much used to create texture, and I already practiced on my palette, so it's kind of chewed up. I personally don't care if the imprints of the spider go away in the pan just because it's on the palette itself, but yeah, I kind of chewed mine up practicing this technique. But basically I'm just going to take the sponge and work in layers. And now I'm just adding in the lights you make onto the lid. You want to be careful to pat this on so that you don't mess up the texture. I kind of did already, but I'm just going to go over it and use a tapping motion once you get into the crease. Don't forget the inner corner, and again, tap, tap, tap. As well as keep running under the eye. So before I move on to anything else on the face, I'm going to take a whole bunch of translucent face powder and make sure this is very set. Just lightly pack it on and barely tapping, letting it basically just fall onto all of this beautiful texture. I'm just using a really light dusting brush like this. I love the shape. It'll make it really easy to pick up this color without disrupting the work underneath. Next, I'm just sculpting out the rest of the face using this face palette, and I want to keep it kind of neutral but warm and summery, so I'll be using these two and this highlighter. And this is the Danger Days summer face. This is not the paled out dead stripe Gerard look, so I'm really packing on a lot of color onto the face. And to finish off this look, I'm just going to add some eyelashes real quick and the Cobra Kid lipstick. Here's a closer look. Inside we have the Art is the Weapon eyeshadow palette, Better Base for a Better You eye primer, white liner set, Fabulous Killjoy lip kit, and a mouse cat pin. To get started with the swatches, this first shade is called Destroya, and all of the swatches are going to be over the Better Living Industries eyeshadow base. Mouse Cat is a perfect sky blue. It reminds me a lot of the album cover, and Mouse Cat is a cartoon caricature whose head is worn by Party Poison in the video for Na Na Na. This gorgeous hot pink color, Show Pony, is named after a character in the Na 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 video as well. The next color is Look Alive Sunshine Yellow. You may have heard it as the first transmission off of Danger Days as told by Dr. Death Defying. This True Red Eyeshadow Vampire Money is also a song title that references the band declining to be on the soundtrack for a certain sparkly vampire franchise. I like how all the titles connect to the comics or more just to the music, but if there's any one thing that we can all get into, it's an iconic MCR red eyeshadow. Planetary Go is one of my favorite songs off of the album, and this orange is perfect for creating a desert sunset eyeshadow. Motor Baby is the first shimmer in here, and it's a stunning teal shade. This color represents the girl who's the main nameless protagonist of the Danger Days universe. Keep Running is the brown eyeshadow as well as a lyric from the song Sing. I love that they included this lyric because it's such a major theme not only to Danger Days but to the band as well. And this last shimmery silver is another lyric from the song called The Kids From Yesterday. It says, "In the lights you make, which is so perfect for a color like this, so bright." And next is the lip swatches. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, I really appreciate it. I know that this palette is really colorful and all of these items can be kind of scary to work with, especially if you're not used to doing rainbow looks. If you do recreate them for one of the shows, maybe please make sure to tag me because I would love to see all of your guys' recreations. If you'd like to get a closer look at this makeup look or any of the other ones that I did in this video, make sure to check out all of my other social media at Marilynmugbeat. Please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. I'll see you next time. Bye!